Okay, great morning. Well, I have been really keeping up with what's going on in China, um, or as 45 likes to say, China. Okay, so what's happening in China? Lots of stuff is happening. Now, she's been kind of among the missing of late. Now, he went to Africa for this meeting that they had about, they're doing some business things and stuff, and he just didn't show up to give some speech that he was supposed to give. Somebody else had to show up in his place, although he was in Africa at that time. And then he went through this doorway, and you should have seen this on this red carpet to, I guess, get some sort of a medal or something. But his security people were coming, and they grabbed his security people and drug him out and shut the doors. So Xi Jinping was by himself going down this red carpet. And he stops, and you can see the confusion in his face and just like, what the hell is happening? Wondering if he's going to be abducted or if he's going to be assassinated or what. You could see the fear in his eyes and the confusion. Was trying to figure out, do I keep walking and go forward? Do I run? What do I do? Well, he did finally go forward. He took a few more steps. He stops and he looks around again. And he did go forward. But, everything is really falling in China. Now, they had some of the major real estate things. Now they've had a number more of them which have crashed since. And so the economy, everything in China is just being wiped out. So I think that's why he didn't want to go and give that talk, because everybody in the world sees, if they're keeping up with any kind of news about business and stuff, they see that China is just crash and burn, and there's no way for them to recover. So what am I wanting to talk about today? Xi Jinping now wants to blame everything on the West. It's all America's fault. It's all the West's fault. That's why you're having all this problem here in China now, because they've pulled out and we don't have them, so everything is the fault. This is like Mao Zedong time again. He's having everybody spy on everybody now, and he started, the thing that's really disconcerting is young children starting kindergarten. He's having them go through this military training, starting from kindergarten, and feeding them this thing. It's the West's fault. The West is bad. The West is after us. The West is our enemies. America's our enemy, okay? And he's gearing up, and he's wanting to go after Taiwan, which he's wanted for a long time. The minute that they had that split, when they had all those other things, what was it, Boxer Rebellion and the other things, and Mao Zedong and Sun Yat-sen left, and they went to Taiwan, okay? They established Taiwan. Well, ever since mainland China thinks that any Chinese anywhere belong to mainland China, as does Taiwan, as does Hong Kong, as does, Singapore, Hong Kong, everything belongs to mainland China, okay? So he is gearing up and wanting to invade Taiwan. Now, this has been on the plate, underneath of it, boiling for quite some time, simmering. But now that everything is collapsing in China, he's got to make a major diversion. And what's going to be his diversion? Okay, blaming everything on the West. Okay, going back to Mao Zedong, the people of wealth and power, he wants to get rid of them again. And like they did before, elevate the peasants and get rid of those that have knowledge and the rich, He says, oh, we've got this divergent thing. So he's trying to figure out how to take the money of the wealthy and suppress them, get rid of them, elevate the peasants yet again. It's the same happening that was when communism took over to begin with. So it's that same cycle. We're back to that again. So this is a very dangerous time in China at the moment. So I want to pull cards and see what is going on with him, wanting to, again, raise little kids, literally kindergartners, showing them how to use. Now these are play guns, mortars, everything, military equipment. He's getting them to use that in playtime. And again, indoctrinating them daily with this propaganda that you have to hate the West. You have to hate the Americans. The Americans are our enemies. This is what's being played out. From the young age, he's starting them now in kindergarten, okay? To be a militarized thing, kind of like North Korea now. We're going to militarize everything, okay? And suppress the rich, suppress those of knowledge. The scholars, that's what they did when Mao Zedong took over, okay? They got rid of everybody of power, wealth, wanted to grab that money, redistribute it, okay? And to the common people, to elevate them. You know, it's the same playbook. It's the same playbook. That was so detrimental. Because why? It has not worked. Their system has not worked, and now it is crash and burn. And you could see when he was on that red carpet walking and they grabbed his security people, he was freaked out. Okay? So what can you tell us about this overall thing that Xi Jinping is doing, having people spy on each other? It's right back to the revolutionary time again. He is going back to that playbook 100%. So let's just see what the cards have to say. I'm not asking a specific question. I'm going to just leave it open and see. Yeah, this is a dark time, okay? This is a very dark time. He's got those people chained, and he wants to keep them chained, and he wants to stay in power, okay? So he is coming up with whatever dark element he can come up to. Going into it, this is about manipulation, okay? Make it happen. Manipulate it. Now we know that somebody that's a magician does smoke and mirrors, okay? It's a manipulation. That's why many times I see this card as a card of manipulation, trying to pull the wool over people's eyes, make it seem something other than what it is. Because why? He's carrying the burden now, okay? Things are heavy. As far as things moving in China, it's a heavy burden now. So he's got to try to manipulate and do what he can. The challenge is so many things up in the air. Now this could have to do with all the rain, the waters, him opening those dams, flooding, killing all those people. We have everything up there trying to maintain power. There's dark elements. We have the people. We have failings of their whole system. Okay, all this stuff is up in the air now. And he's got to find some way. He sees it from a different viewpoint, and everything is hung up. Okay, things are not moving well. Okay, so he's trying to look at, sometimes it's the card of sacrifice. A lot of people were sacrificed to save Beijing when he opened those dams and just killed hundreds of thousands of people. And so everything up there now is just craziness. in so many parts of China. Above it, we have him wanting to control again, emperor, control, be the leader. This is about his leadership, which is dark, about the people, okay? How is he going to deal with the people going forward? The thing is moving this forward, okay? The foundation is, again, looking at the world situation, the water situation, the action, what can he do? And part of his plan is to vilify and make the enemy of the United States, okay? They're the problem. This is his new idea, going into it to manipulate it, manipulate the people, manipulate the families of China, because he is overburdened now. He is trying again to hold on to power with all this stuff up in the air, things getting hung up, and with it going forward. Let's see what we have underneath of it all. He is feeling backed up, okay? He is on a precipice. He is on the edge. So the message, how he's going to move this forward. What kind of actions are we going to do? He's looking for long-term benefit, but guess what? That is so slow moving. It's not really moving anywhere. So he's trying to figure this out. He is, of course, the narcissist, again, of that mentality. There is facing a lot of loss, lots of loss. Okay? And he's, at this point, looking at the losses. He's not looking what he has in reserve. He's just focused on the losses. We have him trying to get away with this. Mentally, what can I take? What can I grab onto? What can I, what can we do? This is something he's struggling with. And so what's he do? He turns to America, okay? And America is the bad one, okay? This is about his government and the Pandora's box that he's got going now. Oh my goodness. So let's break this down. At the center of it, this is major. First card out is Major Arcana. So what is driving all of this? This is driving his dark mentality, having the people chained, his trying to stay into power, leadership by what? Manipulation away to make this go forward, because now things are hung up. It's not moving well for him there. We have the narcissist, which is going to blame America. And that's what he's going to tell from government, his position in government. So it's about blame America. America, the West. It's the West that's a problem. They've done this to you, okay? So underneath of it, we have him, the actions. This is all about, let's look at the actions coming in. Trying to figure out how to go forward. He's got the world there. He's looking out overseas. How am I going to do this? Because I am absolutely burdened now with all the stuff that's happening. Okay? I'm pushed to the edge. I've got to put a message about where we're going. And he is in the midst of struggle with that. Okay? So above it we have the people of China, the families. Everything is up in the air. We had these major floods, and it is a Pandora's box. He's trying to keep the lid on because people are really, I take it back. I've got one more before that. We've had the floods, we have major losses, and the Pandora's box. Okay, he's trying to keep the lid on. So many losses by people there, etc. He's trying to come up with this new idea of how he can get away with this. Okay, how can I get away with it? Because I'm trying to hold on and trying to find a way forward for prosperity, for long term, but that is going nowhere. Okay, It's going nowhere. So he's got to find a scapegoat, and the scapegoat is the West. He's going back again to Mao Zedong, to that same playbook that was put into place so many years ago with the so-called Cultural Revolution, when they got rid of the Emperor of China and the communists took over, and they had the big fight with those that wanted to liberate, with the ones like Sun Yat-sen. But unfortunately, Sun Yat-sen lost, and they left and went to Taiwan to establish, and the communists took over. Now we know that when the communists took over, anybody of wealth and power, like I said, I was married before. My husband was Chinese. His family was prominent with the history of China, so they left when the communists took over, and they left everything behind, just escape with their lives. And we know that the people that were of elevated consciousness, that they really would struggle them. They called struggle them. They would just really let the people be angry and be after those that had had positions before. And so they elevated those, like 45 says he likes the ignorant ones. They would elevate the ignorant ones, the peasants, the ones that, had no understanding. They were just a workforce. Those are the ones he elevated. And those of knowledge, wealth, and power, they would, put them subversive. They would put them down, steal their money, steal their lands, okay? And created this new realm, which is now the Chinese Communist Party. And then we had those, everybody was supposed to be the same in that. Everybody was supposed to be equal, but then they had those that were more equal than others. So we had those that really rose to the top, became very, very wealthy, and then those that are dirt poor. There is no middle class in China. Well, now everything is collapsing. So the Chinese government is trying to figure, how can we get all the money from the wealthy before they leave, and suppress the intellectuals, suppress them. Again, the same thing, everybody's spying on everyone, and we're raising up an army of children from the age of, they've got them in little camo wear, etc., and teaching them how to play, mortars and guns, and it's insanity over there now. So that's what's going on. Let's pull a few 3 cards, Lenormand, and just see what else it has to say. But Xi Jinping at this point is kind of shaking in his boots, because everything is collapsing. And he can't keep it hidden, can't keep it secret any longer, okay? At the center, we have the toxic, okay? The toxic snake, wanting to create a new story, okay? Move this into something else, trying to create this thing of friendship, trying to put whatever toxic thing he can out there, to try to indoctrinate people, okay? Propaganda. Let's do one more and see. At the center, we have about control, okay? Controlling the future, looking at the future, controlling the life path of people, okay? From birth to death, he wants to try to control what's going on with these people, such as the children, indoctrinating them to hate the West, to hate America. They're the enemy, and raise them up in that manner. just totally brainwash these people going forward. We have an ending, death, endings, okay? The darker side conversations that are going on behind the scenes and obstructions, okay? So it's about putting this dark agenda into place, okay? It is not looking good. The center, again, this is a hard time, okay? Difficult time. And again, we have going into a control and married about control, okay? And during this tough time, okay? So I'm just going to leave that here. This is not to make people afraid. I'm not trying to get people afraid, but be aware of what is coming up and what is happening in China. Now, I feel sorry for so many people that are living there. We have so many young kids, the thing that they were told, you need an education. They got an education, and now there are no jobs. And he's telling them to eat bitter now. So eat bitter is like suck it up, okay? Eat bitter, deal with it, okay? You got to go through a hard time, okay? Don't expect things to be easy. Eat bitter, okay? Get yourself some sort of a, eat bitter is also that, we all go through a hard time, okay? It's going to establish you better if you go through this hard time, so deal with it, okay? It's kind of the thing that's coming out now. Eat bitter, okay? So yeah, that's what's going on in China. And they're looking at, I guess, opening up more dam things from the Three Gorges. So there may be many more lost. Because another thing that China said, that we can control nature. That was their big thing, control nature. So what did they do? You used a lot of the underground water. And because they did that, they used up so much underground water, things are now collapsing, okay? Big sinkholes are opening up all over because they've used the groundwater. But now that they've had the floods, the groundwater's coming, and they've got water gushing up. So all of this stuff is going on there now, daily, in many parts of China. People are unhappy. The government was supposed to pay them back for the houses lost. The government's saying it's not our problem. It was the rain that caused it. It was nature. No, they opened the dams. So they're defaulting on that. They built all these big cities, these projects they call tofu buildings, because they build them in a couple days. And they were, so proud of the world. Look at what we're doing. We've got all this infrastructure, all this stuff going, and they will collapse because they're so poorly built. And nobody is in them anymore. They can't afford to buy any of these places. People paid millions of yen for apartments, for buildings, for houses, and these people are defaulting on building them. Okay, so it is just absolute collapse going on in China, or as 45 says, that he could, cure everything with China. It's all Biden's fault with China, okay? Yeah. Anyway, on that note, I'll leave this here, but it behooves us to understand what's going on in the world. Like I said, not to be freaking out about it, but understand what's going on there now. So on that note, we'll have to wait and see what happens with Xi Jinping. Like I said, when he was on that red carpet, he was freaked out. you could see he is fit to be tied. He doesn't know which way to turn anymore because the party, they're not doing good for the people. It's collapsing, okay? And so we'll have to see. We're back to the Mao Zedong playbook. On that note, I'll leave that here, and we'll see you online.